Alright, for this week's top 5 recording, we are doing non-sword weapons. And of course, if you feel like there's a non-sword weapon that's been missed, please do comment down below. And that's all. See you after the video.
So my first pick is the Green Lantern ring. Yes, this actually happens to be probably the most powerful weapon, or one of the most powerful weapons in the DC universe. But for me, it's iconic. Ever since Super Friends with Hal Jordan, I fell in love with it. I think his suit is awesome, but the ring itself, it has gone through many changes as far as how the power works. When I was watching it in Super Friends, Hal Jordan was stuck with charging it or having to charge it on the Green Lantern power battery once every 24 hours. It does have a weakness to yellow. And a real quick fun fact, Alan Scott, who was the original Green Lantern, his weakness is not yellow, not the color yellow, but wood, which means Alan Scott can get murdered by, what's that fucking tree's name? Groot. Yeah, so think about that. Alan Scott, a Green Lantern, will get fucked over by Groot because you couldn't do shit to Groot. All right, Ranger Swan, what's your honorable mention?
My honorable mention is Mjolnir itself, Thor's iconic hammer. While on the big screen, it's no longer the iconic hammer as it is destroyed, in every other sort of media you will see Thor in, whether it is Marvel or anything depicting the Norse mythology version of Thor, you will see him using this hammer in some way.
Yeah.
If, for example, the new God of War coming out is going to feature Thor in a more, I would say, like, mythology accurate fashion, which a lot of people were not happy about. Record of Ragnarok is actually a good example of seeing Mjolnir in a different way because it has its own unique depiction of the hammer.
Yeah. Well, my number 5 pick is going to be the most famous shield out there, and you guys already know what it is. Captain America shield, as you see here. This shield, depending on, it's indestructible unless you can destroy it, because apparently it's been destroyed a couple times. Can bounce off shit, and it's like a boomerang, but it's more ricochet bang, whatever you want to call it. A fun fact with this one is that for whatever reason, Magneto cannot control it, even though it's made out of metal.
What?
Yeah, he can't fuck with it. The few times that Captain America has fought Magneto, he just hasn't been able to stop it because, you know, you would think Magneto would like, yeah, I got your shield, bitch, but apparently Captain America is able to throw it at him and beat him across the face and shit. Yeah, I am personally not a big fan of Captain America. I like him, but it's not too into him. But when I think about non-sword weapons, I think about this shield because this motherfucker throws it, he slings it, and beats the shit out of people with it. What's your number 5, Ranger?
My number 5 is known as the King Cerberus, hailing from the Devil May Cry series.
Yeah.
This is a weapon that is 3 rods that are interlocked. They resemble nunchucks in a way.
Yeah.
But of course, there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
And cool little fact about this one is, obviously based on the name, this comes from a demon known as Cerberus. Much like the 3 heads, it's 3 different weapons, but because each head of Cerberus has a different element, the King Cerberus itself is able to take on different elements. So as you can see, it has ice on its nunchuck form. When it fuses into a staff, it becomes fire.
Yeah.
And then you're even able to separate the rods and turn it becomes electrical.
Okay.
This is actually unique as the old Cerberus was just purely ice, so King Cerberus is more of the superior weapon. It's able to morph into other forms, and overall, I think it's just a really neat design.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to my number 4. Lady Jinx had mentioned this person's tiara. I'm going to mention her lasso. Wonder Woman's lasso. The lasso of truth. Not only does it force you to tell the truth, it can make you do anything. Right? So that tells you how strong Superman is, because he rejected it in the Justice League movie. But did you know, there's a couple facts I have on this one. Did you know that Steve Rogers used her lasso to force her to marry him?
What? Wait,
Yeah.
Steve Rogers?
No, Steve Trevor.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, Captain America.
No, not Captain America. Steve Trevor. That punk bitch, which ruined 1987, by the way. It was 1987 or 1984?
1984.
Which ruined 1984, by the way. So fuck Steve Trevor twice. First, for ruining 1984, and second, for forcing Wonder Woman. He literally, while she was fighting a shark or some shit, said, "Nope, I'm going to keep this lasso on you until we go to City Hall and get married." Your number 4, Ranger Swamp.
My number 4 is the Leviathan Axe from God of War.
Okay.
This is actually a really neat weapon. I thought it was just gonna be some generic looking axe, but it's actually really impressive. It was forged specifically for Kratos' wife. It was meant to be her axe, however, she passed away before she was able to use it. So,
did she pass away or was she murdered?
She passed away. We don't know how she died yet. All we know is that by the time the game starts, she passed away, and Kratos and his son are trying to go scatter her ashes in her homeland, as that was her last wish.
Oh, okay.
And so, naturally, because, you know, his son is very young at the time, Kratos takes the axe for himself, so he at least has some way to fend off any danger.
Yeah. Any special powers?
The axe has 2 slots. I do not think you're able to see it, but you can put runes on it. The runes give the axe special properties.
Ruins. Is it runes or ruins?
Runes.
Runes.
Or like runestone slots, I'd say.
No,
that way you can put the...
Yeah. I was just making a joke, but ruins. I'm going to start with my number 3. And again, Ranger Swamp, I apologize because I know this is your favorite character, but I'm talking about none other than Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Miles Morales, but the web shooters. Right? Now, for the most part, the web shooters are used to swing from building to building, just like a spider would. But we've seen in the video games, they so smartly use this as a weapon. He can create balls like a hammer. He can fucking... what else does he do with these webs, Ranger Swamp? You should know better than me. What other weapons can he create?
Well, at some point he does mix them up, like he does fuse them with a taser and made electric webs.
Yeah.
He makes tripwires with them. Grenades.
Yeah. And I just think it's iconic. I think the fact that Peter Parker created them. How did Miles Morales get a hold of both the web mixture and the web shooters? Because Peter Parker created the web shooter. He created the compound in which the webs themselves are created. Do you know how Miles Morales got a hold of them?
Originally, Miles didn't have web shooters. It wasn't until after some point where one of the other, in the Ultimate Universe, one of the other Spider people kind of saw him be his own Spider-Man, that they actually gave him Peter's old web shooters.
Okay.
And they basically were the ones that kind of helped them. I don't know who it was. I just know that person was the one who kind of helped Miles sort of create the mixture.
I thought it was Aunt May.
That's in the Spider-Verse movie.
Okay. I thought it was in the magazine after Peter Parker died too, wasn't it? Or am I crazy?
No, the way the comics handled it was a little odd. I'm not too sure on it myself. I think in terms of actually like passing down the web shooters, I think Spider-Verse did it best with the Aunt May. My number 3 is known simply as the X-Baton from Astral Chain.
Yeah.
What makes this weapon unique is that, yes, it is a baton used by the Neuron officers when dealing with chimeras or any other individuals that, while investigating a case that may attack them, such as fanboys of certain idols for some reason, graffiti artists, or my personal favorite, a whole crew of an underground fight ring.
Yeah.
The X-Batons are a versatile tool, and the big reason for that is the base form is that of a baton. The other forms it has are, one is known as Blaster, which is a non-lethal long-range tool for either flying chimeras or just for a long-distance attack. And the last form is known as Gladius. This resembles a greatsword.
Yeah.
And it's basically a similar form to the baton, but it's a greatsword.
Yeah.
And a cool thing about this one, I think, would be the fact that sort of how each weapon goes with different legions, or like your little helpers, the things you summon.
But my number 2 is going to be Wolverine's Claws. Wolverine's Claws. I recently watched the movie Logan. I had the pleasure of watching it with Ranger Swamp. I thought I was going to be disappointed in the movie Logan, and I was not. X-23 was amazing, and I think that they should continue with X-23. But when we talk about iconic weapons, when we talk about Berserker mode, when we talk about Wolverine, we talk about his claws. It is laced with how do you pronounce it, Ranger Swamp? Because I
adamantium.
Adamantium. It's laced with adamantium. Obviously, it cannot break Captain America's shield, but that's okay. It can break most shit, right? A fun fact about this, and because aluminum, that sound effect, the snicked, is actually trademarked. Did you know that, Ranger Swamp?
I did not know that.
Did you also know that the Spider-Man, I'm typing in your chat, by the way, the Spider-Man thwip is also trademarked. Those are sounds that are trademarked. So just throwing out little fun facts for you. I forgot the fun fact for Spider-Man cartridges. It's estimated that each cartridge that Spider-Man uses is about 1,000 yards. So every time he replaces it, you can just estimate that he used about 1,000 yards of webbing. If you are Ranger Swamp, that means you would have to replace a cartridge every 5 seconds, because when he plays Spider-Man, whatever game, he is just fucking lacing these motherfuckers. Just like in a Bukkake film, he's just lacing these motherfuckers with that white web.
All right. I believe we have all our number 2s. So I think it's time I moved on to my number 2. Which I think this one comes from a series I've recently gotten into. A really good series. I'm going to recommend it. These are known as pins from The World Ends With You.
Yeah.
And
I have watched you play this game a few times.
So, what pins are, they're basically as you think they were. They're literally just pins you wear in your clothes. However, in the underground, as it's known, the other side that we don't see, pins have a special function. They're basically tools that allow you to activate psychs. Psychs are your different abilities, whether it's summoning fire, using thunder, creating a shockwave that slashes at enemies, using psychokinesis. Basically, psychs allow you to do essentially anything.
Yeah.
So, what's neat about these pins, though, this is a cool little fun fact. Because pins are part of fashion, did you know the pins you use actually affect the brands that are popular in that area?
Wait, I don't get it. What do you mean?
Oh,
I haven't played. Are you talking about the game itself?
Yes, because pins are related to fashion. So a cool little feature in game is pins have their own special brands. So you see like what brand the pin is, like as you select it. So like there's like one that says like Natural Puppy, or like just basically all like different clothing brands.
So Natural Puppy is like the manufacturer of the pins.
Yeah.
Okay,
and they also make clothing items and all that. Yeah. So when you fight enemies and you use those pins, you raise the popularity of that pin subconsciously.
Yeah.
And there are other pins too that are very special. Like the one you see the character Rindo holding is a pin that allows him to basically go back in time and change the future.
So let's go with you first and then we'll go with mine.
Alright, so for my number one, I'm going with the Power Pole from Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Z.
And I'm gonna say it. Let's be honest. The Power Pole is just a really cool weapon. It looks like a very small staff, but its abilities include extending and basically becoming as big as it needs to be.
Yeah.
Depending on what the user wants. I think in terms of utility, it's probably one of the best weapons. If you need a walking stick, guess what? Power Pole. Yeah. Extend.
Yeah.
If you don't want to get near somebody, you still want to hit them, Power Pole, extend.
Yeah.
Like I'd say it's probably one of the most useful weapons.
Yeah. You can definitely push away because how far does it? It's a limited extension, right?
I'm pretty sure it is. If you really wanted to, you could probably.
So Goku is in reference to the Monkey King, right? Isn't it sort of Goku with the Monkey King?
Yes.
So the Monkey King sort of has the same idea in different stories where they have a staff and the staff can extend very long lengths. I think it's an excellent pick. Do you know why he got rid of the Power Pole?
Yeah. So you all know why the Power Pole is not present in Dragon Ball Z? The big reason for that is because in order to climb to Kami's lookout and train with Kami, Goku actually had to use the Power Pole because there was no ladder big enough in the world to reach Kami's lookout.
Yeah.
Oh, the only thing so whenever you see Kami's lookout and any when they zoom out, you see a red pole extending from Korin's tower all the way to the lookout.
Okay.
And at first, I didn't know what that was supposed to be, but when I finally read the Dragon Ball manga, they show how it happened where there's a point in Korin's tower where there's like a hole. You're supposed to put something in there. So Goku put the Power Pole and he just extended it all the way up until it stopped.
Yeah.
And that's the big reason why it's not used later on in the series.
Okay. And then he also learned how to fly, and then he just had superpowers, so that's probably the other reason. It's just he simply didn't need any more weapons because most creatures couldn't match his strength anyways, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is an excellent pick. I actually thought about putting that pick, but I shied away from it because, like I said, I went with straight DC and Marvel weapons. My number one is by Lady Jinx's favorite superhero, Batman. None other than the Batarang. Yes, that's right. The Batarang. You guys all know about the Batarang. It is the most iconic weapon. It is non-lethal. It is a simple yet elegant weapon. And it can do it. It can almost do anything. Did you know, if you spell boomerang, how do you spell boomerang, Lady Jinx? It's with the E, right? That the Batarang was actually spelled with the E instead of an A, but now we spell it with the A because rolls off the tongue either. It was actually Batarang. Kryptonite is not a weapon, it's a fucking mineral, McNuggets. That's why we didn't put it on, and no one fucks with my favorite superhero, which is Superman. But the Batarang, which is simple, obviously when it initially started, this was not created by Bob Kane, who's the creator of Batman. This was originated by somebody else. He didn't create the Batarang, and again, it was originally spelled with an E, not an A. And this is just my number one. As far as I went with sort of the iconic feel of things, and it's simple, it's non-lethal, and it fits this character so perfectly.
And there's our list of the top 5 non-sword weapons. If you feel there's been a weapon that's been missed, comment down below and leave a like, and that's all. See you all next time.